Hey, welcome to the After the Show here on my YouTube channel. I want to talk a little bit today about socializing the adult dog because my listeners all across the country are absolutely amazing. Most of my listeners adopt shelter dogs, rescue dogs, dogs on death row, stray that they've seen on the streets, and they bring them home. And very often, they're foster failures, they adopt them. So I want to talk a little bit about the importance of socializing most dogs. Socialization, by the way, and I tell this to trainers and behaviorists all the time, socialization by far is one of the most misunderstood and neglected parts of training a dog, and it's probably one of the most important. What good is it to have a well-trained dog if the dog doesn't know how to respond with distractions around him? So it's so important from a socialization point of view that the dog gets enough exposure. Socializing your dog, basically what it just means is helping your dog feel comfortable in different situations. So a lot of dogs feel really comfortable in home, in their backyard, but you take them for a walk and they freak out. Follow your dog though, and this is important. A lot of trainers and behaviors say, well, this is what you got to do, and you got to correct the dog for doing this, and you got to do this. Here's the bottom line. The best trainers in the world, the best behaviors in the world, and I worked with many in Europe, they all concur. They agree with me on the most important thing. Don't take your dog out of their comfort zone. If your dog's not comfortable in a situation, especially at the beginning, remove the dog from that situation. Then gradually, as you build up the confidence, the self-image, you can bring the dog back into that situation. In the world of animal behavior, and some of these people on TV, you see it, it's called flooding. What they do is they have a dog that's fearful of something, and they just make the dog afraid, make the dog get fearful, take the dog into the situation till the dog realizes nothing could be more abusive and horrifying to me as an animal behaviorist. Some dogs are really confident, they can adjust to anything, but a lot of dogs, especially the ones we deal with, the ones that are coming off the streets, the shelters, wherever they're coming from, really need to be socialized. So what does socialization mean? Socialization means that if you live in a specific neighborhood, you should expose your dog to all of the different things you'll encounter on a regular basis. Now, I know what you may be saying, well, I just adopted a dog, he doesn't like other dogs, what do I do? Well, other people might say, well, flood the dog and make him, no, here's what you do. Take him to situations where he's at a good, comfortable distance from other dogs. Maybe a dog park you sit 50 yards, 100 yards away. A lot of positive attention, and leave before he reacts. Do it again the next day or a couple of days. In other words, what you want to do is let the dog know that his fear is not really necessary, because every time he sees another dog, he's getting positive attention, nothing negative is happening. That's really important. So you want to socialize your dog to other dogs. Maybe if you know someone in the neighborhood that you can work with that has an older, mellow dog, and I recommend this often, hook up with them and let them help your dog socialize. Dogs learn better from other dogs than they do from us. That's exactly the way it is. But now it's also important to make sure your dog is socialized around different other things in the neighborhood. For example, I talked about this on the show, and you heard me just do another piece on it, noise. If you have a new dog, it's important to socialize the dog, and I say dog, but this goes for cats as well, to socialize them and make sure they feel comfortable around the noises of your neighborhood. Maybe you live near a firehouse. Maybe as I'm talking to you right now, the garbage trucks are in my alley picking up the garbage here in Santa Monica. And they're loud. Thank you for picking up the garbage. I did recycle, by the way. But the important thing is that when I first got Molly and Willie, and God knows what these poor guys went through when they were younger, and I brought them home, they'd be out in the backyard, and they'd hear the garbage in the backyard making noise, and Molly would chase them, and Willie would kind of be fearful of them and back off. So what did I do? Is I know when the garbage truck comes every week. I make sure I'm out there for the first few weeks when Molly and Willie came over, and I gave them a lot of attention. And they got these positive vibes when they heard the garbage truck. So now, when I let them out in the morning and the garbage truck is coming, they almost look forward to it. So those are the type of things you have to think. You have to think out of the box a little bit. So training's critical, absolutely. You need to teach your dog to sit, stay, lie down, come when called. He needs to understand the word no and the word yes. So that training's really critical. And what the training does is the training enables you to build up your dog's confidence and socializing more, because you can take them to places and you have some basic control over them, always in a positive way. Whenever the dog is reacting in a negative way, most people have a tendency to say, no, stop it, knock it off, wait till daddy comes home. If the dog is responding in a negative way, it's probably that it hasn't been socialized enough, and something that he hasn't been socialized with is creating the problem. Again, the importance of socialization is so critical. Having trained over 40,000 animals, I would have to say that the most important thing I think that I brought to the world of animals is the importance of looking at life from their perspective. How would I feel? How would I feel in a different society where I was not exposed to things or not socialized in that way? So look at it from the dog's point of view. And here's the most important part. Everybody wants the well-adjusted, the well-socialized dog. I don't care if you went out and got an 8-week-old puppy and adopted it from a shelter. I don't care if you adopted a 15 or 16-year-old dog like I do sometimes. If you spend the time socializing the dog and just educating the dog a little bit and making life a new experience and everything you experience in a positive way, no different than a child, your dog will be absolutely fine. So I know you're thinking about it. I know it's in the back of your head. Warren, am I going to adopt another dog? Is another dog going to find me with my vacancy sign in front of my house glowing saying, come on in? Anyway, when you adopt a new dog, do me a favor. Have a conversation with the dog and say, you know what? I'm going to make you the happiest dog in the world. I'm going to educate you. We know how education is important, but I'm also going to make you enjoy life. I'm going to socialize you so when we go for a walk or you hear something in the house, it's not going to freak you out. You know, it's no big deal because Pop is right around the corner. Give your dogs a big hug and a kiss me. I'll speak to you next week on The Pet Show.